Just wanted to talk about kind of give you guys a glimpse, go inside of my journey back from a knee injury. September, I had patellar surgery on my left knee, so I just wanted to give you guys a little glimpse into kind of how rehab goes and what goes into everything when it comes to coming back from a knee injury and stuff like that. So, long story short, uh, I thought I was having tendinitis in my left knee, and I kept playing on it. It was a sharp pain that I was having, and it, I thought it was going to get better. So I basically had the tendinitis and this issue for about 5 months, starting in March of last year before our college season, and then I ended up. When I had my first final X-ray to show the results, it was about September when those results came back. So the results showed that I had broke a piece of my kneecap off. There's a fancy medical terminology for it. I think it's called a, can I remember? I don't think I can remember it. But anyway, they had to basically go in. It was basically going to end my senior college soccer season. So they basically went in, removed that piece of the bone that I broke off my kneecap, closed everything back off, and then rehab started. So once rehab kind of started getting going, obviously I'm down because I really was looking forward to playing in this season. I already had essentially blown my chance to play in Kenya because I didn't really know what was going on with my knee at the time. And then once I got into kind of preseason, I was getting a little bit nervous because I had lost a lot of my muscle mass in my leg and I didn't understand what was going on. So at the time, I was basically just starting to panic. The trainers had told me, let's do rehab for about a month and see where you go from there. I do the rehab, nothing's really get better. They kind of pushed me out back into training. I didn't really feel confident about it. I was still running around with sharp pain in my knee, but they just couldn't get a grasp as to what was going on, which none of it's really their fault. It's just some bad luck once you guys kind of hear what happens. So we finally decide that we're going to get an x-ray a day before our first game because, mind you, till this point I still haven't partaken in preseason because I've been doing rehab. I've done like 2 sessions, but I've been pulled out because I can't do anything. I'm really compensating. So after that I go to we go to the team doctor where they take an x-ray. It shows that I broke a piece of my kneecap off, which was essentially giving me the same symptoms as tendinitis the whole entire time. As that's all happening, the team is basically getting ready for the start of the season. So I'm thinking if I can get whatever procedure done to fix it so that I can get back on the field, we'll be good to go. I can basically salvage my season and kind of play catch up. Once all that begins, the doctor takes me through the spill of what they're going to do for the surgery. And in the beginning, he sounded optimistic, but then towards the end, I asked him how long would the recovery time be. He said it would take about 3 to 4 months, which pretty much shot me in the heart, which basically ended my last semester playing because I was on track to graduate in May of 2019. So December of 2019 was going to be, this was my last semester of college ball. So we basically had to take out a medical red shirt. Then I started my rehab, and then after I think we had the surgery about the next week, the week after we had that meeting, so it was probably the first week of September, I believe. Once we had that first meeting, and then we had the surgery the next week, I stayed at home for about 2 weeks, and then we started rehab. It might have been maybe 2 or 3 weeks after that, once I got crutches and they said it'd be okay for me to go back to campus and try to move around as limited as I was. Once I got to campus, we'd be doing rehab from Monday through Friday. Some days I'd go in twice, just depending on how bad the swelling was, because mind you, this is my first ever surgery. I've never had any of these like complications that come from surgery, like the swelling. I was having headaches, migraines. I couldn't really eat that much. Going to class was an issue because like my attention span would last like 5 minutes and then I'd basically be out of it. So we started doing rehab, and mind you, maybe a year before this, I was single leg with my knee. I was able to do single leg Bulgarian split squats with like 60-pound dumbbells in both of my hands, going down with good range of motion. And I was kind of seeing the amount of weight was starting to get lower and lower as like this tendinitis stuff started occurring. So I was kind of curious what was going on, but like I said, we just didn't know what was going on at the time. So when you start rehab, the first day, I remember it like it was yesterday. They asked you just to lift your leg up, and I couldn't even, my quad wouldn't even function to lift my knee up at all. So then I really knew that it was gonna be like a process for me to get back to playing. So we go through rehab. All the weeks are going through. I check in with the surgeon every now and then, and they're telling me you're making good progress, but like I'm making good progress, but yet I still can't. I've got off the crutches. They've put me on the brace is locked. I can walk around, but knowing myself, I just have this urge that I just want to get back on the field and play. But I'm busy in rehab, just learning how to basically just function again. Simple weights with like ankle weights on my ankles, all that good stuff. I think it may have been like a month before I finally got on the treadmill. Maybe it might have been a month and maybe a month and a couple weeks. I finally got on the treadmill and started being able to bend my knee a little bit. I got on the bike, and every single day it was like a struggle, because when you get on the bike, the swelling would pool and it'd kind of limit your range of motion. And then when you get on the bike and you try to do a cycle around, you get to a sticking point on the bike and you can't really get past it, so you have to go back again and kind of work your way until you finally get past that sticking point and it finally lets go, and then you can start biking a little bit. So I guess that was kind of probably one of the early signs of progress that I had. After that we started doing a little bit of treadmill gait walking to kind of get the limp out of my leg, because if you'd have seen me since March, when I started having these symptoms, I started picking up like a limp in my run and my walk. So, and every single time I go into rehab, they tell me to stop limping, and I'm like, I'm not even limping. They're like, you're limping. So I couldn't even think of what was going on with that. Then we got to the point where I started doing like some squats, step downs, stuff like that, and you just start slowly progressing with stuff like that, trying to get your confidence back. But the whole time you're doing all these simple things, but I'm thinking in the back of my head, how am I going to be able to translate all this into jumping, running, cutting, and all that? Because mind you, just doing all these simple body weight exercises that we're doing, is the next day like I'm sore and a little bit of pain after I'm still on the pain medication from the hospital and what all. So like 2-3 months go by, and there's some days you're in rehab and you just feel like you're not making any progress at all. There's some days you feel like, okay, I'm getting somewhere. Then there's some days that you feel like you're regressing a lot. You're not making any progress. And that's kind of where I am today. This is going on maybe 4 months, so I'm already cleared medically, but still working on some things here and there. It was about, let me think, February. it was the middle of February when I went and took my sports test, which basically, if you're not familiar, you just basically perform a whole bunch of body movements and change of direction, jumping on two legs, one leg, basically stressing my left leg just as much as my right leg to see basically the difference in both of the legs. So the test came back, I was cleared. I had a Npsl Trial March the 7th. That was kind of the goal for me to be able to make it to. So the 7th, I flew out there to Philadelphia, had the trial, went good, everything was well. I think they said they wanted me on the team, but then obviously we had this virus stuff come up, so the season was canceled. But so then now we're just in, right now we're just in a quarantine and can't really do much right now, but I guess at least I got my, it was about 70 minutes worth of game time that day, because we had like in the morning session you just do a lot of small possession drills, and then afternoon we had this scrimmage, and I played about 60 minutes on the day at outside back, so that was pretty good. The knee felt good. A little sore even till today. I'm still working on a lot of some things. I got a slant board to do some exercises here and what all, just to make sure that I'm kind of just still kind of progressing little bit by little bit. The one area that I think I've improved will probably be single leg jumping. I used to not be able to single leg jump at all. One of the first days that I think I started doing some plyometrics, I really couldn't jump. It was still a lot of soreness and no power, but now I can jump. There's not as much power as in my right leg, but it's just going to be something I'm going to have to work at to kind of get it back to where it needs to be. But yeah, that's my injury experience with having patella surgery. Let me know what you guys think. Definitely, if you guys have any, I have a whole bunch of exercises that I've been doing here, stuff that the physical therapist has been showing me. But if you guys have any tips, let me know down in the comments section what you guys think. Appreciate you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. You guys can see some of the training stuff that we've been doing.